The Aoocci C6 Pro has a ton of features packed into one incredibly priced unit. But with so many features and such a small price, one has to ask, what's the catch? In this video, we're going to find out. Welcome to another Adventure Bikes Australia video. My name is Ben and I'm not an expert motorcycle rider or motorcycle mechanic in any way whatsoever. Many people have branded the KLR 650 a dinosaur, a relic from the 1980s that barely qualifies as a motorcycle in the modern world. In fact, the only pieces of modern technology that this bike has is ABS and EFI. Fun fact, they've also been around since the 1980s. Fortunately, we live in an age where technology is getting better and better, cheaper and cheaper, and it's happening faster and faster. What this means is we now have a ton of choices available to help us update our KLRs. Enter the Aoocci C6 Pro. This unit has the headlining features of a 6.25-inch screen along with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But wait, there's more. This particular package also comes with a tire pressure monitoring system and front and rear dash cameras. So in this video, we're unboxing and installing the Aoocci C6 Pro and dragging my KLR into the 21st century, kicking and screaming. A quick disclaimer, Aoocci did send this to me at no financial cost to me. The deal is that in return, I make a video telling you all about it to help you decide if it's something you want to add to your bike as well. With that said, Aoocci has no say in the planning, production, or publication of this video whatsoever. Now, if you do decide that you want to grab one of these units for yourself, down in the description there's going to be an affiliate link, and if you use the code ABA22, you'll save 22%. From the outside, the box looks clean and efficient, nothing too fancy or attention grabbing. Open it up, and we find, what have we got here? This looks like a manual. Oh, operation guide. Very good. Excellent. Ah, here's the unit itself. Geez, nicely packed. Crikey. Push it out from the back. There we go. All right. Ooh. Universal power cables, that's very good. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Okay. What do we got underneath? Ooh, tons of stuff. All right. That looks like a camera. Some mounts. Some more mounts. Oh, memory card. Nice. Those will be the tire pressure monitoring system things. Other camera. Looks like a sunshade. The 3 holes look like they line up with that. No, it'll be the other way around. Like that. That'll be good. Different power cabling options. There's a USB one. More cables. Probably extension cables for the cameras, I suppose, too. Oh, remote control. Nice. Power box, and looks like those connect to the battery. All right, very nice. On first impression, the unit looks to be really well built. It feels solid and it definitely doesn't feel cheap. I'll know more when I've got it plugged in and switched on, but the only thing that stands out to me is that the bezel looks pretty huge. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but I can see there's probably almost a centimeter, 10 mil edge around here. The bezel's the edge there, the active screen in the middle, and then just that black edge around the outside. Even so, it should still be a bit larger than my iPhone 11, which I've used up until recently. The unit does come with a bunch of different mounting options, so you can put it on your bike just about any way you want to. The first thing I want to show you is this gets bolted onto the back of the unit, giving you a ram style attachment. And from there, you've then got a mirror type attachment, or you've got a more traditional bar style clamp, which you can use on the handlebars, or in the case of the KLR, up on the GPS bar. Now, because the area that I live in is a little bit rough, I don't plan on leaving this on my bike unless I'm actively using it. So I've grabbed an aftermarket mounting kit from eBay, which is just going to make it super quick for me to be able to pop it on and pull it off when I want to use it. Now, here's one tip I have picked up. It is instinct to grab these arms and use it to hold the unit right up in the air like this. However, if you do that, the weight of the unit is going to bounce up and down, and it's eventually going to sag down towards the handlebars, particularly as you're riding off-road. Instead, place the bracket off-center as far as you can on your GPS bar. This will let you mount the arm sideways, reducing the amount of weight on the end of the arm that's going to pull it down. Okay, so it looks like there's some little rubber shock absorbers going in here, which I'm guessing get shoved in there, and then these screws go in there. So now that's going to sit on there. Okay, it's got a nice rubbery, grippy bottom on it now. Now with the fourth one in, we'll just give them all a good tighten up. With the unit now mounted, the next thing we need to consider are the front and rear cameras and the TPMS system. Now, I've never put cameras on a motorcycle before, so if you see me putting them in the wrong spot, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Alrighty, I've got the rear camera mounted here, but we don't have much of a surface to actually have that sticky glue pad stick onto. So I've stuck it on here. I'm not real happy with the amount of contact. It's only got about 50% contact. So I'm gonna have to get some of those screws and screw them down into this plastic to make sure that stays there. Okay, so let's talk about wiring up the Aoocci. It's dead simple. You've got the power, the rear camera, the front camera, and the remote control. I've chosen not to install the remote control today because I looked at the features and I just don't think I'm ever going to use them, so I decided not to do that. The power, I went with the dead easy option and hooked it up to my USB port. The rear camera, I managed to find a route through under the seat, under the left side of the tank and up to the fairing up there, where there's a nice bit of framework under there, zip tied all the extra wire to that. And the front camera was even easier. It just went boop, straight up under, and again, found another bit of framework, zip tied that up. So now, let's see if we can turn it on. Fingers crossed. Hey, here we go. Okay, takes a second. Hey, there we go, got it. All right, so the install on this is so easy. The only possible problem that you might have might be in your wiring, if you're wiring it back to an accessory terminal and not to the battery, because of course you do want to make sure that it's on keyed power. If you do what I did and went with the USB option, you got nothing to worry about. If you do try it on the USB and the unit still won't turn on, contact the manufacturer. They're really prompt in getting back to their customers. All right, so let's have a bit of a quick chat about the features. We already know we've got a 6¼ inch touchscreen. We've got dual 1080p front and rear cameras. We've got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. We've got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi for phone and helmet connectivity. We've got GPS navigation. We've got TF card support, tire pressure monitoring, emergency recording, and IP67 waterproof, which is all very cool. Now, jump back to the Aoocci home screen. This is where it all starts. So it's got its own driving recorder. You can see it's already recording from the cameras. We've got the date and time here, which I set earlier. We've got the tire pressure system, which I'm going to have to uninstall and reinstall the rear one because it's not reading properly. Got the replay if you want to look at your different recordings. So obviously I need to adjust the cameras. They're a bit skew-if, but that's that. Well, back we go. Okay, and from Bluetooth, here's how you want to connect to Bluetooth. You want to find this on your phone first, and then your phone, keep your eye on the phone, not on the Aoocci, because it's going to come up on your phone. Do you want to connect to CarPlay? You click yes, and then the Aoocci automatically goes into CarPlay. Ah, there we go, the interconnect button. Okay, I guess that makes sense because you couldn't put CarPlay or Android Auto because people might have different phones. So, once more, back to Aoocci Home, interconnect, would be the big picture of the phone. Geez, I'm a dummy. There we go, we're into CarPlay. Now this moves really nice and smoothly. I like the color. It's all doing what it's supposed to do. So that's all really cool. Let's bring up Gaia. How does Gaia look? Okay, Gaia looks pretty good there. Very nice. Can I pinch zoom in and out? No. Oops, lost me. Okay, so you can plus and minus zoom in and out of there. All right. Let's go back to the Aoocci home. Replay button there. This is where you can access all your recordings. So you can see my rear camera and front camera. I need to adjust them a bit, get them tightened up. But that's them. So they're both obviously working. Now, I'm going to go play with this rear PSI measure. Okay, so I've just turned the unit on and off, pulled the rear tire pressure monitoring sensor off and put it back on again, restarted the unit, and now we've got front and rear. The back's not looking too bad, but I'm going to have to go check my tire pressures at a servo and fix them up. That's not very good at all. Geez, I'm terrible about that. Now, let's fix up these cameras. Hello. All right, so the angle that we want it on, we don't want it down too far. Looking reasonably back. Make sure that that circle is pointing straight up. And all right, that's good and tight. All right, so average number plate would be about here. That's not bad. And now the front. That actually looks pretty good. Don't want it down too far, so don't want to catch too much of the mud guard. There. Blinding myself in the KLR's incredible LED lights. Yeah, that feels pretty stable. All right, got a bit of a fisheye effect there, don't we? So I'm now standing directly behind the bike. Bit off to the left. Ooh, G sensor. Accidents. Okay, so the G sensor, that is if you do get rear-ended, it locks the file. So we'll put that onto high. All right, so with that all done, it's time to go test it on the road. All right, we are now out on the road, and I just have a couple of hours this afternoon, so I'm not going for a real long one. Just going to run up to the Flying Bean Cafe up in Beachmont and give this Aoocci a bit of a run. So we can see that that bezel I was talking about is really quite large there. Now that said, it's quite a bright, colourful screen. The colours look really nice. It's quite responsive. You can see I'm a bit of a true crime junkie there, going through the menus out here in the sunlight. They all come up pretty good. And you'll be happy to know that I did adjust my tyre pressures there. So they're up a bit high at the moment just for running around town. We'll see what happens. And I've also straightened up the cameras a bit there. So we'll have a bit of a look at them and I'll add some clips to the video afterwards. So let's go back to this. Let's go get on the road and have a bit of a chat about the Aoocci. Geez, Google Maps, you could have just told me to turn right at the car park there. Send me on a nice big loop. Doesn't matter. One of the questions that I get asked about these CarPlay units is the KLR too vibratey for it? And to be honest, the answer is no. I mean, yes, you can see that it is vibrating a bit, but not too much, not a whole lot. And it's certainly not something I can't live with, if that makes sense. It's easy to see, so there's no dramas there. Nothing really to worry about. Ooh, that bit of glare was a bit rough. Okay, both forward-facing lanes. So it's okay to split. So even though I don't have touchscreen compatible gloves, the Aoocci does seem to still be reasonably responsive to my non-compatible gloves, which is good. Although I do always recommend playing with a screen as little as possible while you're on the bike, just for basic safety reasons, of course. Alright, let's see if we can see the number plate of this car coming up behind me. So the front one looks pretty stable, but the rear one's kind of wobbly all over the place, and I think that's purely down to the mounting points. So the KLR didn't have a great mounting spot on the back. I did the best I could, but obviously it's not real stable. I can't tell here while I'm riding, but we'll get the video files off it when we get home. We'll have a look at them then and see what we can find. What are you doing, you goose? Guess he really wanted a subway. Now if I don't stop, I'll make it to the cafe at 1:57 according to this Google thing, and it closes at 2. So hopefully I'll be there in time to get a cup of coffee, but we'll see what happens. Well, so far, I feel pretty confident saying that this is a great unit for commuting. If you were doing something like Uber Eats or DoorDash, Deliveroo, something like that, using your motorbike to make some money on the side, I reckon you'd probably do all right with this Aoocci. Nice big screen, easy touch through the gloves, easy to read. Haven't had much problem with the glare from the sun on it, aside from the reflection, but it was still easy to read. Oh, I haven't taken my screen protector off yet. Have to do that later. But yeah, I reckon if you were on a road bike and you were looking at just running around town, this would be absolutely great. As I said before, the rear camera is quite shaky, which you may or may not catch the license plate. We'll have to have a look once we get back to the studio and pull that memory card and get the files off. But it would certainly show what happened if you were to get rear-ended in an accident, particularly if the driver runs away. About 2 years ago, my wife was driving to work in her car and someone hit her in the side, drove off, ran off, so it was a hit and run. And because we didn't have any dash cams in the car, and my wife isn't Batman, she didn't take off and run the guy down herself, the insurance company still held us responsible because we couldn't tell them who the other driver was, and so we still had to pay the $1,000 excess to get her car fixed up, which I thought was a bit unfair, particularly given the damage to her car. You could clearly see that it wasn't an at-fault accident. You could clearly see that what she said happened was exactly what had happened. And the most frustrating thing was that it happened at a major intersection with cameras on the intersection and several from different businesses. And so the day after the accident, I ran round and I got all the names and contact phone numbers of all the businesses, because of course they can't hand the recordings over to me, they can only hand them over to a police officer. So I went and got all the names and numbers and contact details and added them to the police report that we filed on the day of the accident, and the police did nothing with it. So it took months before I got any kind of call back at all. And the results of that callback was that it took the police officer 16 weeks, 16 weeks, for the report to go from the person who received the phone call to the investigating officer. So it's not even like it was a slow investigation. It took 16 weeks for the file to be, I don't know, emailed. I guess that's what they do now. By which point in time, of course, all those cameras pointing at that intersection, that footage was all recorded over, wiped, deleted, because after 30 days they just start loop recording back over the top. So we got left with nothing and a nice big insurance bill. So even if we can't capture the license plate, which I don't know yet, we'll have to check later, you'll still be able to show at least that you were rear-ended, or if an accident happened in front of you, what happened in front of you as you were riding along, things like that. So that's cool. Ooh, what are you? Lambo. Far out. Oh, and another 2 more. Wowza. Lifestyles of the rich and famous, eh? Wait for this car to come in, and we might make our way down the middle. Yeah, we're good. Oh. Dang it. Now I'm stuck behind a bus. No, I'm not. Let's go. Ah, I am going to get stuck behind this bus. It's a school bus on a Sunday. That's not fair. Alright, so I made it to the cafe. That was pretty cool. Managed to get there with about 3 minutes to spare, but did get my coffee. Very nice. And unfortunately the camera ran out of battery on the way up the hill, so I don't know exactly where we got up to with the commentary on the Aoocci. But so far it's been really good. It was a bit of a bumpy ride up. Of course, no dirt today. I didn't have enough time to get out into the gravel, so I'm not sure if how it's going to hold up when it gets really shaky. But on the ride up here was great. No worries at all. I am going to check out the front and rear camera footage when we get home, see how that looks, and I'll put a bit of it in here now. Hey there, it's Future Ben here, just taking some time out from editing to bring you some of that ride footage and some of my thoughts with it. I have to say I'm surprised at how good the footage off this cameras actually are, especially considering the price. Now, it was the perfect day for shooting footage when I went out on that ride. It was sunny, it was bright, the sky was clear, and so what you'll see is some really nice colors, and you'll find that the resolution is quite good as well. Now, in a modern world where 4K is the standard, these cameras are only 1080p, and there are 2 things that you need to consider when you're thinking about them. Firstly, there is no image stabilization on these cameras. They're dash cams, not action cams. So on a big thumper like the KLR, there's a lot of vibration and whatnot from the motorcycle itself. However, at low speeds, on smooth surfaces, the footage clears up and you can clearly make out number plates of the cars around you. Which brings me to my second point. Do not mount these cameras where I have mounted them. I've put these in terrible places and I'm going to have to come up with something else. The front isn't too bad, but the back is, well... So while I can clearly see that there are vehicles around me and they will still capture what happens in the event of an accident, identifying other vehicles might be difficult. At the moment, I'm not sure where I'll move them to, but I'm confident if I can find a good place, then I'll get good results. If you can think of some good locations, make sure you let me know in the comments below, because I really will need your help. So here's a couple of thoughts that I do have about the Aoocci, having just taken it out on this run up here to the Flying Bean Cafe. Firstly, I do not understand why that bezel is so big on that screen. It's when it's actually on the bike and you're on riding, it doesn't look much bigger than just using my phone, which is a bit of a shame. Bit disappointing. The only reason I can think of is that they've built the one body for the unit, and they're putting different size screens on it depending on which model you buy. So maybe if you buy a larger screen model, it's going to come with the same overall dimensions, but just that bezel will be smaller, or possibly non-existent. The other thing to consider is that there's no Bluetooth connection to the Aoocci. So on the one hand, if you've got like a Senna or something and you want to connect it to that, that might be a bit frustrating for you. But for me, I run all the Bluetooth audio from my phone anyway, so I don't worry about that. And I actually prefer to not have the headset when I'm riding connected to the unit. I prefer to run it off my phone, purely because when I get off the bike, I don't have to then pull out the phone and mess about reconnecting the Bluetooth headphones to the phone. So there's that to consider as well. But as I said on the way up, you might not have got it, but you know, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, let's head back in. Okay, so now that we've had a good play with the Aoocci C6 Pro, both here in the studio and out in the field, I'm pretty confident saying the following. For just under $350, I don't think this unit can be beaten. It is packed full of features. You've got the cameras and the tire pressure monitoring system, which you don't get in a lot of other units at this price. And then you've got a whole lot of other built-in features as well. It's got its own built-in GPS function, for example, which is just wild. The only suggestion I might have for Aoocci is, because you put a GPS chip in it, why not put a GPS app in there? So you got your own navigation. So if your phone dies for whatever reason, you can still navigate directly off the Aoocci. Maybe that'll come out with an update, we'll see. But both here in the studio and out on the road, I was really impressed by just how smoothly everything worked together. The colors are nice, the unit auto dims and brightens according to the conditions that you're driving in. It's quite responsive, pretty fast in what it wants to do, and everything works as it should. I did have to uninstall and reinstall the rear tire pressure monitoring system, but I mean, that's just a matter of undoing that nut, taking it off, putting it back on, screwing the nut back up, and then it registered it repaired with the unit, and everything was fine. So all in all, bang for buck, it's going to be hard pressed for any competitors to beat the Aoocci. Now, if after all this you've decided that you want to throw an Aoocci on your unit as well, hit the description, there's a link in there. It is an affiliate link. I will get a small commission if you do buy there, so I do appreciate you very much. And in exchange for supporting me, if you do use that affiliate link, bung in the code ABA22, and on top of that already insane just under $350 price, you'll save an extra 22%. With a quality nav system now on the bike ready for a long trip, it's time to think about some luggage for that long trip as well. Luckily, I have found a budget price solution. It's tough, it's strong, it's waterproof, and as I said, costs a fraction of what the others do. In the next video, I'm going to tell you what that system is, I'm going to put it through its paces, and help you decide if that's a solution that you want to put on your bike too.